How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. On today's video, me and my wife, Olivia, are gonna do a little Q&A. We just recently celebrated our first year of marriage. Okay. So before we get started, I would like you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for the rest of the video.
Please do. Okay, so today we wanted to just do like a little bit of a questionnaire. Since we celebrated our first wedding anniversary, I thought it would be cool to just have a open conversation about some really key aspects about marriage. So with that being said, let's go to the first question. What were your thoughts on marriage before you got married? So what did you think marriage was?
For me personally, I think it was just being a provider first and foremost.
Yeah.
Being a leader of the family.
Mm-hmm.
That's the role that I had seen for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. What about you?
I thought that marriage was. There's a song actually that talks about it. It's by Tamar Braxton, and she says she thought that every day was going to be Marvin Gaye and lingerie. So I thought that. Every day of marriage was just this beautiful thing, and there's Marvin Gaye in the background, and just it's love and all of these things. But then I also thought that marriage was like, here we are, we're this power couple, and we can do anything, and this is our perfect life in marriage. So in a way, I think I was living in a fairy tale, but I just thought that marriage was this really big, huge accomplishment in life, and everything had to be perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so what are your thoughts on marriage after getting married?
Honestly, it's far more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. It's a lot of work, and it requires a lot of patience and selflessness, but it truly is. It's just been a fun and really life-changing experience for me.
For me, I mean, I can piggyback. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. Considering the time we got married, we got married, during
COVID.
During COVID,
Yeah.
Which was already, it kind of forced my hand because I was living in Georgia, so it forced my hand to move back. At a time I wasn't preparing or wanting to move back.
Yeah. So
financially, that didn't. It didn't put me in a position I wanted to be as a husband. Yeah. And then even more recently is like I collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
I almost died. So I'm, taking even more time to get to where I want to be. So
yeah. Between
COVID and a near-death experience, marriage isn't anything how I thought it would be. At least at this stage in our marriage, only being year one. But again, just the support that we've been giving each other in the midst of everything.
Yeah.
I feel like she's been supporting me a lot more just because this is what I've been through personally. But yeah, I mean, it's just the support, the communication.
Yeah.
And just the love.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of everything. Like she said, like I have my good days. She may have her bad days, and vice versa. So it's beautiful, and it's like I said, if you have the right partner, it's a real blessing.
What is your favorite thing about marriage?
My favorite thing about marriage, I would have to say just how. Like, I guess just the feeling of being able to be myself around you, all the time. Like, just in previous relationships or relationships in the past, I almost felt like I had to be a certain way in certain areas. Yeah. So my favorite part about being married to you is how myself I can be. I don't have to hide certain parts of myself. I can watch, my TV shows. I can watch the animes. I can watch video. I can play the video games. I can be goofy and silly, and not feel like I'm being judged for it.
Yeah.
And just the fun that we have, like.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
you know, just on a regular day. Like, it doesn't have to be a special occasion for us to be silly or goofy or have a good time. Like, it could just be a Tuesday or you know, Thursday, a random day of the week, and we can just have a, you know, a good time being, both of us being ourselves. So that's probably my favorite part of being married. Yeah. What's your favorite part about marriage?
So my favorite part about being married to you, I would say, like, having a partner to just experience life with. We've overcame a lot of different battles, and we've got to do a lot of firsts together. You know, like our first place, and you know, this is our first marriage, and we've just had a lot of fun, special moments. I love just having somebody to go places with, go grocery shopping with, go to church with, you know, go to the movies with. It's like having a best friend for life.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love that. And then I also, so this is definitely something I'm sure a lot of newly married couples go through, but I love the idea of guilt-free sex, guilt-free intimacy, because in the past, I am not perfect. Just having that guilt weigh over me and feeling bad about participating in any kind of sexual activity. So it was different coming into this, because it's like we don't have to hide and like sneak around. Like, it's totally guilt-free, which is such a relief. And that's how marriage should be. That's what God wanted for us. So, you know, I'm definitely enjoying that.
So what has been the most challenging thing about marriage?
I would say the most challenging thing about marriage is, so I think that marriage literally is you and the other person walking around with a mirror in front of yourself. And what I mean by that is you are constantly having to examine yourself in marriage. And for me, I have experienced a lot of abuse and trauma, unfortunately, in my life. I learned a lot of negative communication patterns. And so in marriage, I've had to unlearn and unpack and undo a lot of things. I was already doing the work because I've been in therapy for a while now. So working through with my therapist on, you know, these things. I mean, it doesn't change when you get married. Like, everybody thinks that, or sometimes people think that when you get married, you know, all your other stuff, it goes away because you're married now, but it doesn't. You are coming with your stuff, and your spouse is coming with theirs, and it doesn't disappear. You both have to be working on yourselves. So that was hard. I mean, you know, you've seen me in my some really tough days, and when we have to have tough conversations. At first, I used to just break and be so heartbroken because of how insecure and self-critical I was on myself. So that has been the most challenging, but it's been the most rewarding thing out of all. What about you? What has been the most challenging thing for marriage?
Just, you know, piggybacking off of what you said, you know, just things that you have to heal from, just from past relationships. It could be, you know, someone that you've dated, it could be family members, but you're constantly, at the same time, you're constantly growing, you know, throughout your marriage. You know, you're exposed to different things. It could be the death of a loved one, you know, a certain success, you know, all these different things, these outside things can mold you or continue to mold you when you're in a relationship with someone, marriage or not. So the most challenging thing is, I would say, it would be pulling things out. It could be pulling things out of you, pulling things out of me, things that I didn't know were there that are kind of lying dormant, or could be triggered through certain, you know, events that take place in our marriage. But just those, sometimes, like, just those tough conversations when certain things, you know, take place in our marriage would be the most challenging. But at the same time, the benefit afterwards makes your bond a lot stronger.
It does.
You know, it's, you know, you're breaking certain things down to rebuild it, so it could stand taller.
And I think about that scripture that says iron sharpens iron, and I feel like in marriage we do that every day. Like, Darshé may have to come to me and say, honey, you know, this happened, it hurt my feelings, How can I support you through this? These are some things I feel like we should be working on together. And in my, in receiving that, I've got to ask for courage. I've got to ask God for courage and wisdom on how to be able to handle what he's saying without it feeling like it breaking me, because I don't want him to feel scared or be stepping on eggshells when he wants to bring something to me that's detrimental to our marriage, our relationship. So although it hurts me in the process, as far as my feelings get hurt, or because I'm insecure and very self-critical, in that moment what happens is he brings me the truth, I process it, and we just kind of help each other through this time. Like it's not just, okay, Olivia, you did X, Y, and Z, now you need to go fix it. Darche is next to me holding my hand and just encouraging me to take responsibility for myself and my actions. But it's not that he just leaves me to do the work by myself, whether he's there beside me or he's praying on my behalf. That's what happens. And then at the end of it, after I come out or I'm healing, we just get even closer. So iron really does sharpen iron. Like that is what happens in the relationship both ways.
Yeah, and same goes for me. I mean, if there's something about what I'm doing, affects her, she'll communicate that with me. Yeah. And because no one's perfect.
Yeah.
And we all fall short. Mm-hmm. And so same, vice versa. Yeah. I'm struggling, she'll support me, and she's struggling, I support her. So
yeah. And I'd say the last thing, vulnerability is another thing that is challenging in marriage, but it's necessary. Mm-hmm. You gotta be comfortable with, or learn to be comfortable with, being transparent, because this is the person that God has assigned to you to help you grow and to grow with. And so you want to trust that person has your best interest at heart, and that they're not going to take advantage of you being vulnerable, and not going to make you feel bad about crying or being upset or any kind of flaws you have. They're going to love and encourage you through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to newlyweds?
Advice for newlyweds. I would just say adjust your expectations of marriage. Not in a bad way, but in a realistic way. Yeah. A lot of people think that when you get married, you think that it's going to be just all the bliss and the joy in the world 24/7. Yeah. And you do experience those things, but not 24/7. If you rewind, going back to your dating years, you have to remind yourself that you're getting 2, maybe 3 hours of that person. Yeah. A few times a week, going on dates. So you're getting the best. They're getting makeup done, fresh haircut, all these things, going on these big adventures. And when you're married, you may get those 2 hours, but you also get the rest of the hours throughout the day.
You get those other 22 hours.
So you get them when they're chilling. You get them when they don't feel good. You get them when they're not in the mood. You get them all the time. So you can't base marriage off of that 2-3 hour date night that you guys were going on when you guys were in the dating phase. Yeah. So it's very important to understand, when you're marrying that person, you're marrying everything that comes with it. Everything. Them, their family, anything that they're attached to that you weren't maybe exposed to during the dating phase, you're going to be exposed to it during marriage. Mm-hmm. And just grace and understanding and communication is what I would say is like we just talked about on the last question, vocalize your feelings, vocalize your hurts and your pains, because that's important. You don't want to, if someone hurts you, you don't want to do something else that's going to hurt them by not communicating it. Yeah. Oh, well, if they're going to do this, I'm just going to not talk to them. Mm-hmm. Then it creates this friction in the other person in the marriage. Is like, okay, what's going on? Yeah. The person's changing. Mm-hmm. So communication, grace, and vulnerability are what I would give. Yeah. And expectations when I give in a marriage. To newlyweds.
Yeah.
How about you? Advice to newlyweds.
I would say 2 things. Be open, and rely on your village, and keep God in the middle. So those 3 things. Be open, be comfortable with being vulnerable with your partner. They're there to help build you up, not to tear you down. Rely on your village. Seek counsel, whether it's through your pastor or through, marriage counseling, which is what we currently do, through your, friends that are married who can really speak life into your union and who can encourage you. Not everything is meant to be shared because it's personal between you and your spouse, but, rely on your village to help support you guys, because you can't do it with just the 2 of you on alone. You need God, you need supportive friends, you need spiritual counsel and wisdom, so things like that. And if you don't have a village, ask God to give you one or build one. Anyone that you you look up to, anyone who's married that can relate, just build your village and ask. If you ask God, He will give you the people that you need.
For sure. All right, well, there you have it. That concludes our video, this segment. We appreciate you guys for watching.
So much.
And what you guys can do for us, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. You can also follow my wife's YouTube channel.
Yes, you can. Connect with me. I will list all of my social media information in the description box for you.
All right, sounds good. All right, again, thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
See ya.